Hey, what's up? So I have been on a health journey for, I'm gonna say, a good solid almost 6 years, and it started with just walking. And on days I don't feel like working out, sometimes I don't even feel like walking, but like walking is king. And I'm saying all that because the last couple of years I have been really trying to build. A few years ago I got really into running, and it was amazing. I was excited because I had like a knee injury, and the reason I could only start walking was because of my knee injury. So by the time I got to a place where I could like run and then sprint, it was really fun. And then although I was pleased with what I looked like, I wasn't as strong as I knew I could be, and I wanted to build on that. So I went into a build phase intentionally. And then guess what is so exciting about hitting midlife? Early signs of perimenopause happened kind of around the same time, which is super annoying. I mean, so annoying. Like things that I used to do before that worked, if I needed to lose a few inches or some water weight, they didn't work anymore. And also, I had already retrained myself, like how to eat. I'm gonna say retrained because I didn't even know how to eat well. So I taught myself how to do that. I'm still, right, like now that I know, I still make different choices, but knowing now. Anyway, all right, so when that happened, you kind of like, I had gotten to a place where I knew how everything's working. Then I was like, let's build. Then perimenopause, then hormonal weight gain, and then life stress, because we can't get away from life stress. So that all kind of happened at the same time. And because of that, I had to find out like what my new metabolism was going to do. And this is before I'm still not on anything like peptides or HRT yet. I am open to them. I don't need them yet, but I could just see that these small changes, for anybody who is going through it, I think some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. There are small things like you're not sleeping well and blah blah. So I did that work. Okay, so I know what my maintenance is now. I have built strength. And last summer, at the very beginning of the summer, I'm gonna say like May or something, I was like, okay, it's time to shred. You've been in this phase for a while now. And when you go into a build, you purposefully gain weight, if you don't know what I'm talking about. And it's just, now, what's kind of ironic is that in the very beginning of like my walking life, my fitness and health journey, I really didn't have like this goal. I just knew I had a bad knee injury. I was gaining weight. I was like not sleeping well, stress, all the things. So exercise was going to be something that was going to save me. Jesus saved me, but like in my arsenal of how to like live my life, so that way I could start to heal things. Well, things did start getting healed, but I had fat on my body that I could have turned into muscle then. And so that is another point that I'm making. I had a very inspirational conversation with a client today, and we were talking about some of this stuff and some of the common misconceptions that people have about, like, women have about strength training and gaining muscle. Nobody wants to look bulky. I'm here to tell you it is harder to gain muscle than it is to lose fat. Let me say that again. Let me say it the other way. It is a lot easier to lose fat than it is to build muscle. It is a lot harder to build muscle than it is to lose fat. And had I known that I had more to work with at the beginning, I would have been strength training from the beginning. So this is very encouraging for people who are just starting. Like, muscle also, the muscle burns fat longer than anything else that you could do. So yes, cardio is good, especially for your cardiovascular health. And steps are king, like I said, but the muscle that you are burning, the muscle that you are building will burn fat longer. So through the years, my goals have changed. You know, at first you just want to lose weight, and then that starts to look different. It's not just about weight now. Now you want to, you know, and this is where the term bodybuilding comes from, because you can literally sculpt a body. It does not happen overnight, which is the other thing, is like, you cannot just walk into a gym and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, that's impossible. So you have to put in 1,000,000 reps to look bulky. And, you know, it's kind of a fun thing. I'm kind of being lighthearted about. That's where I feel like I'm at now, because last summer when I went out to do the shred, I said out, but like when I went to start, life happened. I burned my wrist, and I know it's gonna sound like an example, like an excuse, but if you were around when I burned my wrist and you saw that thing, the weird thing is, like, it's not like that my arm was broken and I couldn't like lift weights. I mean, I still worked out, but I am a very summer girl. I love all the seasons, but summer and water, that's just like my thing. And I was not running a lot back then, but I was walking a lot. So I couldn't walk because the burn, let me see if I can show you, like, there's an ugly scar. The burn couldn't get hot because it would hurt, and sweat would irritate it, and I had to keep it dry, and like, it was this so annoying. So I couldn't be outside and like just sweat. I couldn't do my hot Pilates. Even if I wanted to be like at Hot Works or something, that was not going to be an option. And I like, seriously, like, depression came on, and it didn't happen overnight, but like, in hindsight, by fall, it only took a few months. And in the summer was just rough for my family and just different things. Y'all, all I can say is that rain or shine, good days and bad days, like, exercising will save your mind and heart and soul. I don't know where I'd be if I did not exercise. Now, remember, I'm not saying like I have a perfect body. I've done everything. I know everything. I'm just saying, like, that the pursuit in general, I think, is life. Like, that is what living is, not just like being alive. Like, how are we being alive? Are we intentional about how we're being alive? I think that matters a lot. And I do believe that, you know, these are our temples, and taking care of them is worship. So that's another tangent, but I feel like I need a little bit of extra accountability, and maybe coupled with me kind of posting a few more things lately, I'm kind of inspired to kind of maybe turn this into like a little journey. So if anybody knows the company One Up Nutrition, I had tried like a protein of theirs some years back, and then just kind of followed them, you know, emails mostly, stuff like that. And I think a couple times a year they do like a transformation challenge. Sorry, walking and talking, y'all. And yeah, it would be amazing to win, but it's only 8 weeks. And before I saw this challenge, I'd already told myself that I was going to give myself about a 6-week, 7-week period of where I really wanted to be like dedicated. And for me, it's not the working out part that's hard for me. Or, you know, sleep, and like I know how to eat. My problem is making sure I eat everything I'm supposed to. And humans, period, like if you... Oh, I'm in trouble for walking by that house. If you don't eat enough, your body will store what you do have. Kind of puts it into reserves, you know, it thinks it's starving, so it wants to protect you and hold on to all of that. Y'all know the deal. So when people say, I only eat once a day, well, it depends. If you're eating once a day, but you're eating all the calories you need, kumbaya. Have it in the morning, afternoon, nighttime, whatever. If you're eating once a day and you're eating less than a toddler, or the nutrients you're getting are less than what a toddler would need, we are doing so much metabolic damage. And then that is where resetting your metabolism has to come into play. So yeah, I signed up for the One Up Nutrition Transformation Challenge. Does not start until next Monday, but I've been using this week to kind of like prime my brain. And I had been tracking food for so long, I kind of, you know, lately had been like eyeballing things. But when you're really serious about a goal, either gaining muscle, losing fat, whatever, tracking is really going to help so much. And I know it can seem overwhelming, but I've just gotten to the point where I can track something, and a lot of the times I eat a lot of the same food, like the same 20 items probably, and I can just kind of go pre-track. Anyway, so maybe y'all want to follow along this little journey. There's a lot of things I want to do in this channel, and if you're seeing this like on Instagram or something, I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for many years, 10 years. And I just have vivid memories of sitting down and hitting record 10 years ago as a very active makeup artist. And this is in the early days of, anyway, people you know. And I look back and think like, why didn't I start? Like, look at how far they've come. And it's inspirational. There's other things I've been building since then. So it's not like, you know, but whatevs. We're going to put it out there. We are going to do some things with it. So overall, I'm out here today contributing to my life design. Internally, you know, we all have that something that we're trying to like live for, live through, and get to this place. Everything will be cool when this. Everything's going to feel great when that. And it's not always like that. It's the journey. So making the best of the journey. It sounds like so cliche, but I do think that there is an art to creating life. Designing your life, not creating life, sorry, but like, you know, designing the life that you live, like you design your living room, and that's probably my artistic heart and my artistic eye saying, like, if there's something that we want to adjust, we can. And it probably does stem from some things where you can't control, right? So the things you can control, who we are, how we treat people, how are we regulated, where are we getting our inspiration from, do we have faith? I think that's a huge one. That's the only one to me. That's all that it really is. And everything has stemmed down from that, because who would I be if I didn't have Christ, which is the real, he's the real artist on display in any of our lives, whether we say it or not. And he has definitely shown up for me and changed my life. There's a lot of things, so many things, but this is just one thing that I think the blessing of realization of like how much he loves me spurs me to want to love myself. This is an old thing already, but you know, you don't realize how valuable your life is until you can see that through someone else sometimes. And God was and has been the most and only source where not only, you know, to be known and fully accepted, but also being called to like radical change internally. Having that as my compass is the greatest gift, and also sometimes on some days feels like the heaviest burden. And I don't mean burden like I don't love it, but just burden because it's a responsibility that I feel I have to honor the Lord. And sometimes it's in super mundane things. But I'm hoping that on this channel we will talk about a lot of those things. I'm not an expert in any of them, but maybe you're right where I'm at and want some motivation. Maybe I'm slightly, a step ahead or two in front. Maybe I'm behind and you need motivation to keep going because you were me, whatever. I feel like I get inspired by so many different walks of life in different parts of their journey. I love seeing people who are starting off completely, like their excitement motivates me, because it's almost like, girl, don't stop, because you have no idea how hard it's going to be, but it is going to be so rewarding. And, kind of like just that natural, what's that word when you don't know something, like ignorance, And then, I love watching old people who have been doing this for years and years, and it's their whole life. Their life is, consumed with just taking care of them and preserving themselves, and extra bonus points if them preserving themselves is so they can be in service to others. Like, really, that's just what we're here for. So, okay. See you on the next one.